So, time to have a quick check back and a post-mortem on the vertical drains in the lawn. So, I did that last weekend. It's now Friday, so a bit of time to think about it, and also a bit of time maybe for the grass to sort of settle in and sort itself out. So, doing it, absolutely brilliant, went really well. I did it probably in about 2.5 hours to get all of that done. So, it didn't take very long at all. The drill thing that I rented, that was about £75 from Dewson's, not sponsored at all. But when I came to pay again, when I returned it, the price gone down a little bit. So the price does seem to fluctuate a bit. So check your timings on that. But yeah, that was dead easy to use. Kicked a little bit whilst I'm using it, but nothing too bad. Hurt the arm a little bit, but yeah, nothing that anybody can't handle really. I had to get some two-stroke fuel into it. Fortunately, I had a bit of the right oil and the right fuel already here. If not, that could have been a little bit expensive to top that fuel back up. It must have sipped a tiny little bit of the fuel that was already in the tank, but I managed to fill it back up again. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Instructions came from Juicens about how to use it were great. Yeah, slight little moan about the model that had a choke underneath that you had to fiddle around with occasionally, but other than that, the machine itself was dead easy to use, powerful enough for what I needed as well. So yeah, that part of it was dead easy. Square cutting the holes out was pretty good. That wasn't too bad. The ground was nice and soft though, so that probably made a difference. Pleased that it roughly this time of year. Any earlier would have been just a bog out there and wouldn't have been able to do it. Any later would have been too hard. So yeah, I did it literally middle of March this year. So really good timing to do it and worked really well. The stone chips, yeah, they were 10mm limestone chips that I used. I was told 10mm. I do wonder whether something slightly bigger would have allowed more gap between the stones. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's a bit late to do anything about it now. The sand that I used, I picked up a cheap bag of what was called ballast and was quite stony. There was quite a few stones in there. I was hoping to get something that was just plain sand. So just choose your sand more carefully. Don't go for the cheapest bag like I did. Yeah, you probably don't want the stones in there. But yeah, getting all that in was dead easy. You probably noticed I didn't use any kind of liner or anything like that in the hole. Whenever I've seen people doing it online, nobody seems to use any tube insert that goes down or any membrane or anything like that. I have seen some sort of articles and some drawings, probably for more engineering type scenarios where they want to do this sort of thing, where they are using plastic sleeves to insert down into the hole that they've just bored, or potentially a membrane around those sleeves as well. I didn't do that. I just basically filled it up with the chips. Yeah, potentially over the years, some soil can get into those holes, but it is what it is. And I'll, I can just do it again in 10, 15 years time if I ever need to do that. So I'm not too worried. What else to say about it really? Dead easy job, really easy to do. Would recommend it if you want to do it yourself and you think about doing these things. I'd previously been thinking about French drains, and that would have been much harder work to do. So this was a much easier route of doing it. Took me a couple of hours to sort it out. Yeah, really pleased that I did it. A few other little things that sort of didn't quite go according to plan. I was hoping to get the holes drilled really, really deep, all the way down for the on the length of the auger. But unfortunately, the ground was having none of that. So a little bit of geography. I sit on top of a hill. This house is built on top of a hill, and it used to be a cricket pitch as well. So there's an element of some sort is all right. There's a bit of drainage underneath and things like that. What we found out from our neighbours is when the houses were built 30-ish years ago, our house was one of the last houses to be built, and the back garden was pretty much the spoil tip for the rest of the development. So there is a bit of sand. It is a bit uneven at times. This patch just here is about 20 centimeters higher than the patch where I was actually digging the holes as well. And occasionally when you're digging down, and I don't know whether you caught a frame of it on the video, occasionally when you're digging down into the garden, you do find a brick, or in this case as well, I found a few little offcuts of a breeze block as well. So yeah, there is a bit of rubbish in there as well. So you hit that occasionally. But as I was drilling down, I was actually hitting the bedrock underneath of the hill. So it would go down. So in some cases, only a foot, just under a foot. and it would hit bedrock. In other cases, 2 foot away, I'd be going all the way full length of the auger. So bit variable as to where the bedrock is around here. But yeah, there's times when it just wouldn't go any further, and I had to leave it. The other thing I have seen other people do is where they've basically got a piece of plywood, thin plywood, and then cut a hole in it, and then augured through that hole. And that was to kind of contain any soil that came out around the edges. You can do that. It just seems a bit of a waste of a bit of plywood, to be perfectly honest. I was just able to pick it up and scoop it up and put it into the buckets that I had there. So yeah, you could do something like that, but I don't think it really made too much of a difference. It certainly didn't take too long cleaning out each hole. And like I say, I did all of that all in sort of 2.5 hours, so it wasn't that much hard work really. The lawn the following day had a bit of rain on it, which was quite good. Not too heavy rain, bit of drizzle, bit of spit for the rest of the day, but it didn't get too wet. But that has helped to just sort the soil out, and where I've cut those square panels out, it's just helped to stitch that back up again. So you pretty much can't see where I made those holes already, and it's only been a week. The biggest clue is where there's sort of some sandy dirt lying around, and that's really the biggest clue. So yeah, so the weather's been pretty good to us this week. It's had a bit of rain, a bit of sun, so the grass itself should sort itself out. When it was raining the other day, I wasn't really expecting to see, oh, it's miraculously drained away and there's no problems with it. You know, I didn't have standing water on the lawn, so I wasn't expecting anything to suddenly just drop through into the drains. But it, yeah, I was just expecting over the course of say a winter or something like that for it to really dry out and be more noticeable next year. So this is only kind of the first update on how I did. Next, I've got to basically wait a year, and next spring that's where we're probably going to be expecting to see a difference in how the lawn looks after a winter and how it behaved over a winter period. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll solve some of the moss problems that we get every year in that dark patch. So that's it for this post-mortem. All sorted, all happy, went really well, and we'll have to do another one in about a year's time when we see how it's gone over the winter. So let me know how I got on. Tell me what you think I did wrong. Have I made a mistake not using a liner? Have I used the wrong chips? Did I use the wrong sand? Was there a better way for me to have done this? Let me know. Put it in the comments. Click like, click subscribe, because it really helps me on the channel. And I will see you again in a future video.